Gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
And today we got a whole heap and load of news from the good world of HBO and Spider-Man.
Take 30.
Yes. This is our first true redo. Like a lot of other, well-known podcasts have done that. We have done this episode. It's almost like The Matrix. This has happened so many times. We're doing it again, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you say Matrix?
Yeah.
Arnie, I think we have a review of that up now.
That's right.
Yeah, we should definitely be promoting The Matrix. There should be like a link up here or up here somewhere.
Somewhere watch our Matrix review there, here, or somewhere. We just did a review of The Matrix. We got Matrix on the mind. Right now, we are to the news. So, as I said, we will talk about the HBO Max situation, and we will also talk about the Spider-Man casting news. We both are pretty storied on these two subjects, so hopefully we're going to give you some good heaping help and some good news. All right, so we'll start off with the HBO Max announcement. In summary of many news articles across the internet, a few weeks ago, Warner Media, owned by AT&T, headquartered in Dallas, by the way, announced that Warner Brothers Films will be releasing all of their movies slated for release in 2021 on HBO Max and theaters simultaneously. They have stated that it will only be on the platform for 31 days and then taken off for an indiscriminate amount of time. They have also stated that this will only be a 2021 thing. A lot of people don't think that's actually going to happen only for 2021, but that's what they say. There's definitely a lot of attitudes about this across the internet. Everyone's got something to say about this, especially those who are the captains of industry in the movies right now. But my man Drew, how do you feel about this? I mean, it's crazy, obviously, but yet, like,
I feel like every time we've shot this, I feel a little different about it because, I mean, at first, I really didn't like it because I thought that cinemas were dying. Since then, I've gone and done some research and looked around, and like in Texas, where we are, theaters aren't that in as bad of a place as they are in a lot of other places. People are going to movies. A lot of people are going to movies right now. Things that get released, these other studios that aren't Warner Media, they're still gonna go out to the theaters. That's the only way they have money. We're talking about one studio here, and I don't mean to make that any small. Warner Brothers is huge, but we are just talking about one little studio here, and they can't change the game for everybody. Other people are still going to be putting their movies out in the theaters, and they're going to be going. We keep talking about metrics and analytics, and they're still going to be using those same analytics that we've always used forever. And they want to change Warner Media wants to try to change the game because they can and they have the power to, and they are not the big conglomerate that they want to be. As I love watching Last Week Tonight, when Last Week Tonight just shits on HBO and AT&T all the time. Like he just goes on. It's like, I don't care that you're my parent network. F you. Do something about it. What are you going to do? Cancel me? But and that's the way he talks about it, because it's like, it's just not, I think they can start a trend and we can start trending that way. And I think that's fine because we need new things to adapt and for our medias to survive. I just don't believe we're there yet to go completely away from movie theaters. And I think I think once 2021 passes, we'll come back and talk about it again, because I think movie theaters are going to be in a different place once there's a vaccine and people are taken care of. And I think movies are going to be in a different place, because we're going to have this. We are in an experiment right now. We are in a true experiment. We are the controlled subject because we're not the control, because we're going to either see that we want to go see movies in theaters, or we want to keep streaming them at home.
Europe is the control.
Yes, Europe's the control.
Everyone else in the world is the control, because this is only America.
So we are the experiment in America.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to say a lot. What about you, Arnie? I think I said that's... straight to the point for me.
Straight to the point, my friend. And I think so. Thinking about this a little bit more, I think what's going to happen to the movie industry in America is going to be a lot like the anime industry in Japan. What do I mean by that?
What do you mean?
Everyone and their mother in Japan watches anime. Everyone. It is a cultural zeitgeisty thing. Every single person there's anime for everything. There are little boutique theaters all over Japan where you can just watch episodes of anime, movies about anime, romantic animes, weird animes,
and other things.
Yeah, other things. Real, yeah, absolutely. Like, and the movie industry is still going to keep chugging along. There's movies being made right now. There's going to be movies being made every single day. There's movies of all kinds of nature that are movies will always be made. There will always be content created, and even more so now that we have all these streaming services. And I think what's going to happen to movie theaters is going to be the industry of the movies is going to be, there's going to be something for everybody, and everybody's going to have their own niche thing that they watch, even more than we have now. Like, we're obviously going to always have the Game of Thrones, the Matrices, all the John Wicks, of course. But I think with the advent of the internet and streaming services and the fact that we are now creating more content now than we ever have before, eventually we will start falling into more niche audiences. And then sometimes there's going to be movie theaters that will maybe cater to just one niche, and some theaters that cater to this niche. Right? Imagine just like Alamo Drafthouse. Like, they'll have nights and weekends where they'll play 4 or 5 movies that are horror movies from the 60s. And then other night they'll play movies that are like action movies from the 90s. Or they'll have events where you can watch all of these new movies that are like new sci-fi movies from across the world. We're talking more unique, boutique, kind of smaller niche type things that eventually will spread to the movie theaters, where not just the blockbusters are going to play all the time, not just the 5 or 6 like nationwide movies will be released. I think what's going to happen is we're going to have theaters that will play TV shows, just like they used to play The Walking Dead at Alamo Drafthouse, or all these other like art house cinemas did sometimes. And I know that Game of Thrones was shown on theaters as well for a while as well.
I think you're exactly right. Like things like the Granada. There used to be you and I think we went to one, but there used to be watch parties at the Granada where you would be able to go watch every week you could go watch Breaking Bad in its final season, because they had a watch party every night, for every episode that got released. I do agree that these niches are gonna spread to the bigger theaters. I don't think people are gonna be totally comfortable being thigh to thigh with somebody at a concert. I think we're still going to get some of that media getting released and maybe going to a theater. Maybe there's some live events that you wouldn't necessarily want to go actually live, but you would stream it at a big movie theater. There's plays or Broadways that could get shown at a movie theater where you can actually kind of get some distance, enjoy popcorn.
Fathom events do that already.
The Fathom events, exactly. Those kinds of things that you're going to be able to enjoy from a comfort from a movie theater that is a little bit safer and a little bit less restricted than some of those live events. So I think definitely we're going to get something different in theaters. They're obviously, I'm saying it, they're not going away.
They're not going to go away. They're not, because the experience of going to a movie theater is still fucking fun. It's still fantastic. We as human beings, look, this is a plague. This is a pandemic. This is the one thing that is playing on our most basic human nature, to be with each other. We like being around other humans. It is literally written in our DNA. And unfortunately, this is the one thing that can separate us in a meaningful way. And it is the story of history. Plagues go away. They either run their course, or we eventually figure out a way to defeat them.
So a win that we did. I'm sorry. Were you about to say something else? One last thing. My bad, man.
Well, the only thing that I think is important to state about this whole thing is that Warner Media did put a bit, they just went whole hog on this before anybody in the industry really was ready for it. And they have decided to stake their flag in the sands of time and say, we have decided to null all of the contracts that are already in place,
Yeah.
And we have decided to fight those legal battles because we want our platform to be the thing for us to lead us into the future. And that sucks. I mean, that sucks for a lot of people. That just does. Yeah.
So like one of the good things that came out of this, or I just want to share, is that well, there's two good things that I wanted to share, but let's talk about this first one real quick. Is that HBO Max is finally coming to Roku,
Yes.
and that's been long awaited. I will admit that I came on this streaming platform, and I said this wouldn't happen this year. I have to eat my own words because it did happen this year. I didn't think AT&T would budge on all these restrictions that Roku, or all these things that Roku wanted on their wish list, that I don't think AT&T was prepared to give. I want to go over some of those restrictions with you, Arnie, real quick, because I think they're very important. I know you are. I'm a straight Apple guy. I have an Apple TV. I know you're a Roku guy, so this is going to be fun because this
Roku and HBO. I mean, sorry, and Google Chromecast for sure. That's what I.
Yeah. And so Roku might. This is according to an article that was posted on Variety, actually, also. But so Roku might not have gotten everything that they wanted. They did get. Roku is now losing the rights to sell HBO through the Roku channel. So before, you used to be able to subscribe through HBO straight through Roku and add that to a subscription service as part of your Roku thing. And now that's not actually happening anymore. Now you will get the HBO Max app and you will subscribe through HBO directly and install the app directly. So all new subscribers won't be giving money to Roku anymore. They're actually going to be giving money straight to HBO, which I know Roku does not like. It gives AT&T full control over all its viewer data, which if you had a nickel every time we said viewer data on this channel so far,
dude,
you'd be one rich man. Roku
that's the money.
Yeah, Roku did, however,
that's new currency.
Receive concessions from AT&T on its ad inventory. So when they do ads in, so like now Roku is getting some free advertisement money from AT&T for doing this ad supported version of HBO Max. So it means we're going to get an ad version of HBO Max. It's coming. And that was one of the deals that Roku wanted to get done in this, and that they wanted to see ad supported streaming outspace subscription only service where you pay for your rights to have ads or not to have ads. And so that's a big deal. That there's some stuff that we don't know yet. A full, like, if AT&T is committed to buying advertisements to promote HBO Max on Roku, but I saw that today firsthand, where during football they did advertise that HBO is coming to Roku. They mentioned that they mentioned a couple things. I told you on this commercial, like HBO is now on Roku. Wonder Woman will now be in 4K HDR, which is something we haven't had in a while. Mm-hmm. We've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it personally since July. And it wasn't, I didn't see it was going to happen. And I'm so happy that I'm going to get to watch Wonder Woman in 4K. And I don't know if we're going to be charged for it either. Like, I wonder if 4K content is going to be charged for later.
That's a good point.
Roku or anything, because in most other platforms it does cost you.
Right.
So we'll see about that later.
Yeah.
We got news of the 4K content, Roku, and the whole, there's a Game of Thrones series coming on, and they wanted to make all their big announcements all in this one commercial, and they put it during when everyone's going to watch, during football in America. And so I think that's really interesting. What do you think of those things, man?
Well, I think it just makes sense that they'll make a deal, because Roku is simply the largest streaming service in America. And I think worldwide they are at 40 million subscribers. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think for 40 million American subscribers, which is, is 300 million Americans. I think they are the largest. If you're talking about market share of streaming platforms, Roku is the largest. I think they had to make a deal, right? They had to make a deal at some point. It's just too much money left on the table for them not to make a deal for that, right? And like the 4K thing is absolutely, because we have the Netflix 4K, right? That's extra. You have to pay extra to get that, and it obviously takes more bandwidth. I'd imagine it takes more like administration for them to actually pull that off. And I bet you what's going to happen is Wonder Woman is going to be free 4K. Like, it'll be included in your description just to give you a little, give you a little taste. Give you a little taste of it.
January 1st, though, probably, right? Because December 25th is when Wonder Woman comes out. So January 1st, it might come up.
They might be like, hey, you enjoyed that 4K Wonder Woman? Tell you what, we're just going to make a whole 4K tier of our service. And now you can, and I wonder, because like most of the content on HBO Max is created by Warner Media. So in my head, I'm like, is it possible they have 4K, like all of that they can bring in 4K?
Right.
Or it's just a couple select things like Netflix, right? Like, I know that like if you're talking about just getting 4K HBO, I think you can literally only get that on Fios. Like, you can't get like 4K.
You can get it on a cable, like a cable thing, like, because I remember I used to be able to get it like on Spectrum, where if I paid so much, I could get it, but you couldn't get it streaming.
Dude, oh my God, I would love to watch some 4K Game of Thrones. Man.
Yeah, like, right? I mean, I do want to say something I read in this article, the same article that I read the Roku news from, is that according to this article, like, AT&T did not want to give up any money on distribution or position over distribution and revenue sharing and stuff like that, because of, I don't know, there was just a lot of things going on in this deal. But they reported that because from them streaming the movies, I'm not getting words out here, I'm sorry.
Right.
From HBO Max streaming the movies as opposed to them being released in movie theaters, this will result in a $1.2 billion in foregone revenue from Warner Media.
Can I tell you one other thing about this on that tip? I read an article the other day that stated that AMC Theaters is thinking about slashing the price of ticket sales for Warner Brother Media movies so that it will cut the profits that they would have even gotten. So
That's
try
great.
to cut them out. I mean, this is the streaming wars, man. This is it. This is companies fighting it out.
Like I said earlier, man, like, other studios are going to be releasing movies. And so if what you just said is true, and I go see Paramount, I go see something in Paramount that's $14 a ticket, and then I go see something that's done by Warner Brothers at $5 a ticket because of the streaming war. It's who's losing? I'm not.
No, the consumers always win.
Arnie, I was about to say, Arnie, ring the bell. What do you always say? The consumer always wins in these wars.
Yep. When people when capitalism, it is the truth of capitalism that when businesses fight, the consumers always win.
Yeah.
They always do. Because this is, I mean, as a consumer, look, we love movie theaters. I don't want them to die out. It sucks that jobs are being lost because of this. As a person in the world who, likes to go watch movies, it'd be fine with me if I only paid $18 a month and got all these movies all at once. Like, that is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, Roku is the winner in this war too, because by them getting HBO Max on their side, they have won the war for it. It's a win for both of them, because now they know that streaming is the winner of all this, right? More people are going to stream now that Roku has HBO Max, and you can see, people were going to go see HBO Max anyway. Did I really want them to go buy another platform just to watch HBO Max? Did I want them to buy a Chromecast instead of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
People were going to go buy another Chromecast or a Fire Stick or something just to watch HBO Max. Well, why start that when you just got it on, you just got it on Roku, and Roku's now going to get more subscribers for the HBO Max as a platform. So I think this is a win for everybody because it's saying streaming is going to be the answer right now. And what can you do on Roku? You can stream. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you got kids, you can fucking watch a movie over and over and over again while just paying one fee. Yeah, and it's going to be a brand new Warner Brothers released animated movie. You can just show your kids. You don't got to go to the theater anymore and pay thousands. Pay like dude, if you get like a family of 4, that's like $100, even more.
That's one point that we made originally is that and that I just want to bring up again to your point, Arnie, is that I was probably going to see I was going to be dedicated and hard set on seeing 3 of these movies for sure. With the way the world is right now, I don't know if I would have gone to the movie theater, but if I did have a vaccination and it was safe, there was about 3 of these movies I was going to go watch. Go to the movie theater, buy a bucket of popcorn, pay the $15, whatever it is, and go sit in there and watch it. Now that it is streaming, as opposed to that, I mean, I'm gonna probably watch all these movies that Warner Brothers releases. That there's not a bad one in there. There was just I probably wasn't gonna pay to go see Space Jam.
Exactly.
I'm going to go see Space Jam now.
Yeah.
I was not the biggest fan of Mortal Kombat. I love playing the game, but I didn't really care for the movie. I'm going to 100% watch that movie now that it's streaming.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cases like that where I think we ended up winning in this scenario because, Arnie, what do we always say about the consumer?
When companies fight, consumers always win.
Yeah, I think we did it, man. Short and sweet, right?
Let's do it. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Connecticut Precious Movie News. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Tell us anything. And like we said earlier in a version of this that you didn't get to watch, first comment gets a whole minute of video or a whole video.
Yeah. No, yeah, sure.
Comment. Just comment. We'll definitely pay attention to you. Tell us how good we are. Tell us how bad we are. Just tell us anything. Just tell us anything. We want to know there's an audience out there listening to us, and we're just not talking to a void.
Yeah. But please, of all things, guys, just go watch a damn movie.
Go watch a freaking movie.
Arnie, I hear you have you have a solo project going on, right?
I do. I have a podcast called The Arnie Diaz Show. It's just where I do some independent journalism and some interviews. It's really fun. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Good. It's great. It's on all of the podcasting platforms known to man and YouTube, The Arnie Diaz Show. Please look for Arnie Diaz. I think that's it, my man.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Please watch a movie. Cool. All right.